This worked example for 1D array in Java's concerns shifting the values within the array. Here are the subgoals for evaluating array statements. Here's the problem we want to solve. Assume that the integer array alpha has been properly declared and has a length greater than or equal to 1 and is full of data values. Evaluate these statements and determine the values in alpha. If any error occurs, give the reason. This is then followed by the code. Subgoal 1 is to set up the array from 0 to size -1. We know that alpha is an array of integers and it has values, but we don't know what the values are, so we will set up the array to go from index 0 to index size -1. Remember that alpha.length will give you the array size. Subgoal 2 is to then evaluate the data type of these statements against the array. For this code, we have a reference to alpha sub 0 and a reference to alpha sub length -1. Both of those indices are valid. Both of them contain assignment statements with the integer variable start, so the assignment statements are also valid. Inside the loop, we have the statement alpha sub I is equal to alpha sub I plus 1. For the loop bounds, I will go from 0 to less than alpha.length -1 or to the value alpha.length -2. So for alpha sub I, the indices would go from 0 to alpha.length -2, and for alpha sub I plus 1, the indices would go from 1 to alpha.length -1, all of which are legal. So all of the indexes into the array are valid, and the assignment statements are valid. Subgoal 3. Trace the statements, updating the slots as you go. Let's look at what happens with this code when we trace it with a sample array. The first statement is the integer variable start receives the value at alpha sub 0. At alpha sub 0, the value is 12, so 12 is assigned to the variable start. Now when we go through the loop, I begins with 0. Inside the loop, we have alpha sub 0 equals alpha sub 1. The value at alpha sub 1 is 22. It is copied into alpha sub 0, or position 0 in the array. Then I is incremented to 1. Alpha sub 1 gets the value at alpha sub 2. The value at alpha sub 2 is 8. It is copied into alpha sub 1. I is incremented to 2. At this point, alpha sub 2 gets the value at alpha sub 3, which is 15. 15 is copied into alpha sub 2. I is incremented to 3. Alpha sub 3 gets the value at alpha sub 4, so the value 2 is copied into alpha sub 3. At this point, I becomes 4. Alpha.length is 5. 5 minus 1 is 4, and 4 is not less than 4. So we exit the loop. Notice at the end, alpha sub 3 and alpha sub 4 both have the values 2. The last statement of the code says alpha sub length -1 gets start. This puts the value that's in start, 12, into alpha sub 4. Notice that we have shifted all of the values to the left by 1 and placed the initial value at the end. That is the end.